Did I ever tell you about the time that I got yelled at by a parenting coach on a Facebook Live for saying that we teach the same stuff? Me with dogs, her with kids. Spoiler alert, yeah, she did not agree. But here's the thing. What she did say, it accidentally kind of proved my point. So if you're ever wondered where dog training, parenting, and personal growth collide, or if you've ever messed up and wondered if your dog will ever forgive you, this one is for you, my friend. Let's get into it. Ready to have a calm and peaceful life with your dog without the stress of those fear-based behaviors? Hi, I'm Tracy, and I've been there, overwhelmed by all the conflicting dog training advice and unsure of what to do next. But now I help dog lovers like you simplify your life with your dog by building confidence naturally, fostering trust, and addressing those fear-based challenges. So, if you're ready, stop chopping those chicken wieners and let's get to it.
Hi there, Jamie here with Buddy, Daisy, and Homer. I first contacted Tracy because after many years of having packs of just good dogs, this group of dogs was struggling and having toothy disagreements. My problems with dogs started when I adopted Daisy at age 1, and she was like nothing I'd ever seen before. She was insecure and reactive and would bite or antagonize other dogs for seemingly no reason at all. I had worked with other trainers on leadership before, so I was skeptical to try this approach again. I had flown in a well-respected dog trainer. I had driven Daisy 12 hours to a different trainer with a long list of credentials. We tried force-free but had reached the end of its limitations. The biggest difference between working with Tracy and everybody else was Tracy. She never shamed me or told me I was doing it wrong. She would give me tough love when it was needed, but I never walked away from our sessions feeling beaten down as I had with other trainers. She stuck by me through very hard times. Fast forward to today, and I now understand my 3 very different dogs much better. Daisy is much more in tune to the things that I ask, and when she isn't responsive, I now know what to do. I am more confident, and that is the biggest difference. I truly don't think we would be here without Tracy and my friends inside the Fearful Dog. The Fearless Framework and working with Tracy has helped all of my dogs, not just Daisy.
Well, hello, my dog-loving friend. It is Tracy. Welcome to Beyond Obedience, the podcast. Super duper welcome if you're brand new here. Welcome, friend. So glad that you are here. Shout out to my good friend Jamie and her incredible pack of beagles. I actually do remember the very first time Jamie contacted me, and I remember turning to Paisley and going, this is exactly why we need to keep on talking about what we talk about here. This overwhelm and confusion of conflicting dog training advice and feeling like you are not enough. And I tell you, if there's anything that I can help you with or help you to understand is that you are enough. You are enough for your dog. Please do not let this industry beat you down and believe that you are, and have you believing that you are not enough, because you are enough, my friend. So it's a passion, it's a mission that we have here at Beyond Obedience. And it got me to thinking, okay, did I ever tell you the story of how I got yelled at, and I mean yelled at, by a parenting coach? It's true. I did. I got yelled at by a parenting coach. So I want to kind of back up a little bit and kind of, reframe this whole story for you, because it kind of, it kind of shocked me. And I'm going to give you a little insight into like the things I do behind the scenes. So, okay, back up like many months ago. I'm in the group. I'm coaching, and one of the incredible members of the student community said to me, "Hey, I don't know if you've ever heard of this podcast, Brat Busters, but she's a parenting coach and she's really, really good. But it's amazing how many similarities there are between the things that she says about raising like good kids and what you say about basically raising good dogs." And I was like, "Ooh, that's interesting." So of course, I'm interested in it. I go over and I start listening to the podcast, and I subscribe, and I'm all like, "Oh, this is really good." Now, full disclosure, I don't necessarily need her parenting help at this point in time. My kids are grown and leaving the nest. Wait. Or sometimes maybe a little bit of this. It depends on the day. Depends on the day. No, I mean, honestly, the empty nest thing is going to hit me hard. I'm not going to lie. But anyway, I digress. The point is, I didn't really necessarily, I wasn't listening, for the parenting tips or hacks. But I did fully agree with a lot of things that she was saying. I've often said that I have really good dogs and I have great kids. And I don't think that's by accident. You know what I'm saying? I never really compared the two as far as like what I do with dogs until I sort of heard this podcast. Anyway, fast forward a little bit. I've been following her for a while because really like her like down to earth advice. She's like, no BS, just calls it like it is. And I'm loving everything about it. I happen to be scrolling through the socials as you do. I'm trying to get off of that, but that's another story. Anyway, I'm scrolling. I come across one of her lives and I'm like, ooh, like this is one of her lives on Facebook. So I start listening. And as I'm listening, I'm like, there's so many similarities. And I happen to comment that there are so many similarities to what I do with dogs. And I mean, there were a lot of people on that live. Like she's very popular. There are a lot of people on that live. And so I was like, there's no way she's going to see my comment. But boy, did she. Did she ever. And she stopped what she was saying and literally was like, there is nothing similar about what I do and how we train dogs. Like she was, it was bad. And I was like, it scared me. I dropped the phone. I was like, oh, like, when you get called out, like, I was like, oh, she saw me. And I dropped the phone. I almost wanted to put the phone under my blankets. Like, oh my gosh, she's yelling at me. It's not like she could see me. Anyway, she I guess had said like this wasn't the first time that someone had said that, and she completely vehemently disagrees with it. Like, and then she continued to say like I raised my kids and I have good kids, but I've had lots of dogs and my dogs walk all over me. It's nothing the same. And I heard that and I went, how interesting. Because I would say my experience has been different. Like I have really good dogs and I have great kids. Like I don't know. So anyway, I hid the phone like under the bed. Like I was like, oh, she yelled at me. You know me. If you're just getting to know me, pathological people pleaser, don't like to make anybody upset. I really felt like I should write her like a nice letter, be like, I am so sorry. I did not mean to come on your live and just, but I didn't. I digress. The point is, I thought it was a very interesting response, and I kind of sort of thought nothing of it for a while until this week. Now, as many of you, if you know me, you're following me for a while, you know that I'm also a self-help junkie. I like to listen to self-help podcasts. I like to read self-help books. I like to be encouraging, all of that good stuff. And there's so many things that we can glean from different methodologies of even self-help that help us. My goal is to be a better version of myself. I'm constantly wanting to work on myself, not just for my dogs, but for my marriage, for my kids, for my family. Like I'm doing the best I can. And one of my favorite podcasts is the Mel Robbins podcast. Very, very popular. And I happen to be listening to Mel as I do. And she had an incredible parenting guest on, and I'm trying to find her name. I don't want to get her name wrong. It's Dr. Aliza Pressman, and she has a book out. Oh gosh, Tracy, why do you not? People should know that I don't script my podcasts. Or do my research. or do my research, and I don't have my phone on me. Oh, gosh. Well, let me just tell you this. I will link everything. I will link everything in the show notes. Um, because she had these 5 principles of parenting. And as I was listening to this, I was like, oh my gosh, how interesting. So, her 5 principles of parenting, I don't want to spoiler alert it for you if you're going to go listen to it. You should listen to it. Because let me just tell you, too, you should listen to this podcast even if you don't have kids, because it's not about it is about parenting and how you parent kids, but it's also about how we were parented. And it's so good. Anyway, I the 5 principles that she had of parenting, and listen to this. If you've been following me for a while, listen to this: relationship, reflection, regulation, rules, and repair. And I was like, hello? Hello? Is that not what we talk about here at the Beyond Obedience podcast? 100%, right? Relationship, obviously, we're talking about how, Beyond Obedience is exactly that. We are not about obedience training or training. Not that it's a bad thing. I always have to put that caveat in. I'm not saying obedience is bad. I'm saying you can go beyond obedience. You can go deeper than obedience. You can work on your relationship, and not your relationship to the dog, not the dog's relationship to you. Very, very different. But we talk about that all the time here. Reflection, as she spoke about, was this idea of actually sort of being observant and reflecting on things, and not getting sort of like all caught up in all of the like shouldn't haves, all of that stuff. It's it's so good. Regulation, she's talking about how we regulate our own emotions so that we can influence our children. What? I know. We regulate. How many times have you heard me talk about that? This idea that, we need to, it's my favorite quote from my mentor, Nelson. You don't try to control the dog, control yourself and influence the dog. This idea that we don't have to work so hard to be constricting, to control our dogs all the time, to have this like, oh, I gotta control your dog and make sure that they're doing all the right things. We can actually regulate our own emotions, and then through that regulation of our emotions, we naturally influence our dogs in a much better way. She talks about the fact that children, like dogs, need rules and boundaries. And within those rules and boundaries, that's what creates safety. Also talking about this idea that we don't want to dedicate our life for our kids to never have any stressors, to never have any problems. We want to build resilient children through allowing them, to have not toxic stress, but some sort of, stressors that allow them to become stronger. And I talk about that with dogs. I don't want to coddle my dog through experience. That's exactly what the Fearless framework is all about. This idea that we are not going to trick our dogs or bribe our dogs through a fearful experience, but rather be there with them, beside them, help them through the experience, see them to the other side of that experience so that they get the win, so that gets put in their brave bank. They build up this little bank of bravery, and they in themselves become more resilient dogs, able to handle more and more things, and we become the partners in that beautiful existence that we've helped create for them. And then finally, she talked about repair. And for me, that is everything about how we as humans beat ourselves up. We beat ourselves up that we didn't know, like, oh my gosh. And I catch myself on it. I am not I am not perfect at this. I still to this day have those moments of, oh my gosh, if I knew then what I know now, I would have done things completely differently. And my friend, if you're hearing this right now, I am talking about the hardest choices I've ever made. the choice to put a dog down. And I still to this day have the, if I knew then what I know now, I don't think I would have made that choice. And that sits heavy in my heart every day. And I have to stop myself and go, but you didn't know, Tracy. You did the very best that you could with the information that you had at the time. And I have to learn to forgive myself and know that the dogs of my past aren't holding those grudges. I truly believe that. So that's what repair is about. Repair is this idea that, you know, we can make mistakes, and we're going to make mistakes with our dogs. They are very forgiving, by the way. Dogs are very, very forgiving, but we have to forgive ourselves. So all of this, I was like, this is exactly what I teach. I'm telling you, I will link the podcast up in the show notes for you if you're interested. And as I say, because it's not just about the fact that you're parenting little people, but also the fact that you've been parented, and how we've been parented shapes who we are, and all of that good stuff. And how it was such a message of hope and just brilliance. I just loved everything about it. And again, I know I'm going to sound like a broken record here, but that is literally everything that the Fearless Framework is about, right? It is everything that it's about. It's not about fixing the dogs. It really, honestly, has nothing to do with the dogs if you think about it. I mean, it does, but it doesn't really, because it's about helping us humans show up differently. It helps us to know how we can positively influence our dogs just by being, just by showing up, just by, it's just, I don't know, it's everything. It's just everything. That's what it's about, right? We talk about this all the time, but I want to make sure that I give that one last sort of push, this idea that it's not how the dogs are relevant to us, but rather how we can be relevant to the dogs. And when we stop pushing a boulder up the hill with this, when we start working within the dog's nature, when we start working with our dogs, when we start seeing them the way that they are, everything else gets easier. Everything else gets easier. How do I live with all of these dogs with very little obedience? It's through this work. It is honestly through this work. And hey, if you're someone that loves obedience and wants to do obedience, it will be so much easier. It's so much easier to get a dog to do what you want them to do when they're willingly following you, when they're looking at you going, you get me, and I want to be with you, and I want to do the things that you're doing. It's so much easier. It doesn't have to be this hard. That's the bottom line. So, why am I sharing all of this? First and foremost, shout out to the parenting coach from Brat Busters. And I truly do, and I mean this with all of my heart, I truly do respect you. I respect you. But I am going to say this. I think we're more aligned than you think. Like, I'm going to come back and be like, I still stand by what I said what I said. That's what I said. You know, shout out to you. And then to you, my friend, I want to let you know that you are not the same person that you were when you made the mistakes, and neither is your dog. Right? You're not the same person, and we're always going to keep growing, and we'll continue to do the best we can until we know better, and then we'll do better. Thank you, Maya Angelou. Right? That's all that matters there. So, hey, if this episode resonates with you, if you are a pet parent, if you are a human parent, okay. I wasn't going to bring it up, but you know what? I am. I'm going to call myself out right now. If you know me, you know me. If you know me, you know me, especially if you've been following me on social media for a while. You know, I don't really like the term fur baby. I was able to say it there without pausing, so I'm getting better. I don't like the term fur baby. And for the reasons of, well, let's frame it into what I just talked about. If you came up to me and you were like, I believe that my relationship is a parent-child relationship, which, hey, if you're in my Fearless Framework, you know that I talk about you have to choose your relationship style or define your relationship Tracy, calm down. Define your relationship style. And I did put parent-child in there. There are some dogs that actually do enjoy and can do the parent-child relationship. But if you were to come up to me and say, Tracy, I read the book by Dr. Pressman, and I'm following these rules, the five foundations of good parenting. I can't even remember what it's called anymore. You know what I mean. What is it? 5 principles. There we go. 5 principles of parenting. And you're like relationship, reflection, regulation, rules, and repair. I would be like, slow clap from the back. Like, slow clap from the back. I would be all about that. Yes, and yes, and yes. I think I want to sort of reframe, because I know someone's going to come to you like, you don't like the term fur baby or pet parent. I would if you had this framework. Absolutely would if you had this framework. Because as I mentioned, some dogs like it. There's some dogs that are going to be offended, right? And if you don't know your dog's doginality, take the quiz. Plugless shame, take the quiz. beyondobedience.ca/quiz. Take the quiz. Find out your dog's doginality. Some of those dogs, they don't want to be your fur baby. They just don't. And if I'm being honest, some of those dogs, the reason why they're acting out the way they are is because you are treating them like a fur baby and not the little toothy predator that they are. So that being said, I'm going to call myself out, because while I personally don't subscribe to that type of relationship style, if you do, that's okay, as long as we're clear on this definition of relationship. I would 100% be behind you if you had Dr. Pressman's 5 principles of parenting. You're like, I'm gonna do all of that. I'm gonna focus on the relationship and its trust and connection and presence. I'm gonna do the reflection of self-checking and awareness and intention, and I'm gonna do regulation. Like, I'm gonna calm my nervous system to influence my dog. I'm gonna have rules and boundaries to equal safety. It's not punishment, it's safety. And I'm gonna have the forgiveness and grace for myself and for my dog when mistakes are made. I would be like, yes, 100% yes. Everything you said, yes, yes, and yes. So there you go. So it is true. I don't like the term fur baby. See, I did have a hard time with that one when I said it that time. I don't like it, but that's me. You don't, I don't have to like your parenting. I don't have to like your relationship style, as long as it works for you. But if you come into my world and you're like, this is the style that I want, but it's not working, and I tell you, you've got an athlete and you're going to have to change your relationship, you have to be like, okay with it. You have to be coachable. You know what I'm saying? Okay, I digressed. I went on too far. All right. I don't even know where I was going with this. Listen, if this episode made sense to you, if you were like, yes, I agree with this, Tracy, or I would like to share this with others, please do. Please share this episode with your other dog-loving friends. If you are not inside our community, please join us there. Why are you not inside our free Facebook community? Come over there. Let's talk about it over there some more. And if you are like, let's do this next level, Tracy, I want to be a part of the Fearless Framework, we would love to have you there. You're going to go to beyondobedience.ca/fearless and join today. Be a part of that incredible community. I'm telling you right now, you won't find nicer people. You will not find nicer people than the people that are in the Fearless Framework. Like Jamie. Jamie's inside the Fearless Framework, and she's amazing. She is the most encouraging, sweetest person you're ever going to meet. She's harder on herself. She's so hard on herself, but she's so encouraging to others inside that group. You'll meet Jamie there. Jamie's hanging out with us. You'll meet Jamie's beagles. They are adorable. Anyway, I'd love to see you there. All right, I think that's it for me today, my friends. As always, get out today and be the person that your dog thinks you are, because your dog thinks that you are amazing. And so do I. Have a great day, and I will see you in the next episode. Bye for now. Oh, and one one more thing. This podcast is meant for entertainment and education purposes only and is not meant to replace hands-on professional training. If you are really struggling with your dog, please reach out to a professional in your area. All right, I think that's it. Bye for now.